Sometimes the destiny has a funny way of balancing the books. The story I'm about to tell you isn't mine, but I witnessed every single moment of it. It's about my two former colleagues, Olivia and Chloe, and a lesson in karma so perfectly delivered, it could have been written by a Hollywood screenwriter. Olivia was brilliant. She was one of those quiet, unassuming geniuses you find tucked away in a corner cubicle, headphones on, creating magic. Her designs weren't just good, they were revolutionary. She had a way of seeing the world differently, translating complex ideas into elegant, user-friendly interfaces that left everyone breathless. She was the company's secret weapon, even if she didn't know it. The problem was, Olivia was also incredibly shy and conflict-averse. She believed her work should speak for itself, and she'd rather spend an extra 10 hours perfecting a project than a single minute promoting herself in a meeting. Then there was Chloe. Chloe was the opposite. Charismatic, ambitious, and a master of office politics. She knew everyone's name, everyone's coffee order, and exactly what to say to make the bosses feel like they were the smartest people in the room. Her actual work? It was average, at best. Competent, but never inspiring. She was great at delegating, even better at taking credit, and her real talent was in presentation. She could sell a mediocre idea like it was the invention of the century. Olivia and Chloe were supposedly best friends. They joined the company around the same time and bonded quickly. Chloe, with her outgoing nature, sort of took Olivia under her wing, helping her navigate the social landscape of the office. Olivia, in turn, was always happy to help Chloe with her projects, offering insights and suggestions that would invariably elevate Chloe's work from meh to wow. From the outside, they looked like the perfect team. Olivia was the brain. Chloe was the voice. I always thought it was a bit of a one-sided friendship, but Olivia seemed happy. And who was I to judge? The project that changed everything was a massive one. A complete redesign of our company's flagship app. It was a career-making opportunity, and the whole department was buzzing. The lead for the project was up for grabs, and everyone knew it would go to whoever presented the most compelling initial concept. For weeks, Olivia practically lived at the office. She poured her heart and soul into it, sketching, coding, and testing. I'd see her there late at night, surrounded by empty coffee cups and a sea of sticky notes, a look of intense focus on her face. She was creating her masterpiece. One evening, I stayed late to finish up some reports, and I saw Olivia showing her entire concept to Chloe. She walked her through every screen, every user journey, every innovative feature. Her face was glowing with pride. Chloe, on the other hand, had an expression I couldn't quite decipher. It was a mix of awe and something else. Something I'd later recognize as pure, calculating ambition. She showered Olivia with praise, calling her a genius, and telling her the pitch was a surefire win. She even suggested a few minor tweaks to the presentation slides, offering to tidy them up for Olivia to save her some time. An exhausted but grateful Olivia handed over the file, thanking her best friend for being so supportive. The day of the pitch arrived. The big conference room was filled with all the senior executives. Olivia was a bundle of nerves, clutching her notes. Chloe, cool as a cucumber, gave her a reassuring hug and whispered, "You've got this." The project director called for the presentation to begin. "Up next," he announced, "we have Chloe, with her proposal for the app redesign." My jaw dropped. So did Olivia's. Her face went completely pale. Chloe strode confidently to the front of the room, flashed a dazzling smile, and began her presentation. And it wasn't just inspired by Olivia's work. It was Olivia's work. Every slide, every design element, every single brilliant idea. She'd just changed the name on the title page. She presented it flawlessly, of course, fielding questions with a poise Olivia could only dream of. The executives were captivated. They were eating out of the palm of her hand. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. The CEO stood up and declared it the most innovative proposal he'd seen in a decade. He announced on the spot that Chloe would be leading the project. Throughout it all, Olivia just sat there, frozen, looking utterly betrayed and broken. I saw Chloe glance over at her for a split second, a flicker of something. Guilt? Triumph? In her eyes, before turning back to soak in the adoration. After the meeting, Olivia confronted her. I wasn't there, but I heard the story later. She was quiet, her voice trembling. How could you? That was my work. Chloe's response was chilling. She didn't deny it. Instead, she turned it around. Oh, Olivia, don't be so dramatic. We worked on it together. You're brilliant with ideas, but you know you can't handle a presentation like that. You would have frozen up. This was the only way to make sure your amazing work saw the light of day. I did this for us. She framed it as an act of friendship, a necessary sacrifice. Olivia, non-confrontational as ever, simply walked away, tears streaming down her face. The next few weeks were awful. Chloe was promoted to project lead and immediately began acting the part. She managed the project with an iron fist, but it quickly became clear she was in over her head. The initial concept was brilliant, but executing it required the same genius that created it. Technical questions came up that she couldn't answer. When the development team needed clarification on complex user flows, she'd get flustered and say, "Just follow the design." She'd secretly corner Olivia, demanding answers and help, but now framing it as an order from a superior. Olivia was miserable. She was being forced to build her own stolen masterpiece under the command of the thief. She did the work because she was a professional, but the spark was gone. She was just going through the motions. The project started falling behind schedule. Bugs were popping up everywhere. The beautiful, elegant concept was turning into a clunky, confusing mess in Chloe's hands. The executives, who had been so impressed initially, started getting antsy. This is where things get interesting. This is the part where Karma decided to clock in for her shift. Chloe, panicking as the deadline loomed, did what she did best. She blamed someone else. In a high-stakes progress meeting with the leadership team, she announced that the delays were due to key members of the design team not being fully aligned with the project's vision. She heavily implied that Olivia was the bottleneck, subtly painting her as difficult and uncooperative. What Chloe didn't know was that our department head, a shrewd man named Mr. Harrison, had been watching the whole situation unfold. He'd seen Olivia's early work before, and had his suspicions from the very beginning. After that meeting, he didn't confront Chloe. Instead, he called Olivia into his office. He gently asked her to walk him through her original design files, the ones on her local drive, complete with time-stamped creation and modification dates that predated the pitch by weeks. Olivia, hesitant at first, finally showed him everything. The raw sketches, the early wireframes, the detailed notes explaining her rationale behind every single decision. It was an undeniable, irrefutable library of evidence proving her authorship. Mr. Harrison just listened, nodding slowly, his expression grim. He told her, "Thank you, Olivia. That's all I need." The final project review was scheduled for the following Friday. It was a massive affair. The CEO was there, along with the entire board. This was supposed to be Chloe's crowning achievement. She had managed to patch the app together into something barely functional, and she was ready for her final victory lap. She began her presentation, the picture of confidence. She walked them through the final product, glossing over the bugs and highlighting the few features that still resembled Olivia's original vision. When she finished, she smiled, awaiting the thunderous applause she felt she deserved. But the room was silent. Then, Mr. Harrison cleared his throat. "Thank you, Chloe," he said, his voice dangerously calm. That was informative. However, before we conclude, I'd like to present a slightly different version of this story. He motioned to the tech assistant, and the screen behind Chloe changed. It was Olivia's original pitch deck. Mr. Harrison began to speak. This presentation was created on October 15th by Olivia Green. What you just saw was a copy of this, presented by Chloe on November 1st. He then proceeded to show the file properties, the metadata, the time-stamped evidence, laying out the truth for everyone to see. He clicked through Olivia's original, elegant designs and contrasted them with the buggy, compromised version that Chloe had produced. The difference was staggering. He concluded, "True innovation and leadership aren't about having a great idea. They're about having the integrity, skill, and vision to see that idea through to completion." Olivia is the mind behind this project. Chloe was merely the messenger, and it seems she lost the message along the way. The silence in the room was deafening. Chloe's face was a mask of pure horror. All the color had drained from it. The CEO just stared at her, his disappointment palpable. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Her career, built on charisma and deception, had just imploded in the most public way imaginable. The aftermath was swift. Chloe was fired, of course. Her exit was as quiet as her rise had been loud. Olivia? She was immediately promoted to project lead. Mr. Harrison gave her full creative control and a new hand-picked team. She was terrified at first, but with the entire company now rallying behind her, she blossomed. She took the project, stripped it back to her original vision, and rebuilt it from the ground up. When the redesigned app finally launched, it was a phenomenal success. It won industry awards, and our company's stock soared. Olivia became the star she was always meant to be. She's still quiet and humble, but now there's a new confidence about her. She learned that while her work does speak for itself, sometimes it needs someone with integrity to make sure the right person is holding the microphone. So, for anyone out there doing the hard work in the shadows, keep your files safe, keep your receipts, and trust that while credit may be stolen, true talent and karma, well, they always sign the final report. Thanks for listening to my story today. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of workplace drama and eventual justice. See you in the next one.